Hi and welcome to the Homeopathy Health Show. I'm Atiq a fourth generation homeopath with over 25 years of professional experience and practice in this field of healing. The Homeopathy Health Show is the online voice of homeopathy around the world, promoting and raising awareness of this truly unique system of healing, which is suitable for all ages, young and old. Every week I invite guests from the world of homeopathy to come and share their experiences, their work, offer insights, and essentially talk all things homeopathy. Why not visit www.liketreatslike.co.uk and click on the radio and podcast button to listen to the latest episodes. So let's begin today's show here on UK Health Radio, the world's #1 talk health radio. Hi and welcome to part 3. Sorry. I don't know what happened there.
It'll be a long night.
I got the giggles for no reason whatsoever. Okay, behave. Hold on. Hi and welcome to the Homeopathy Health Show here on the UK Health Radio Network. And absolutely, I am your host, Atiq Ahmed. So this is part 3 of this 3-part special called Homeopathy in Practice. And my guests returned from part 2, should I say. And part 2 was aptly named Reina's story, which was really to do with Reina and her battle with cancer and how she survived and how homeopathy came in and really gave her hope and life. And it was a beautiful story indeed. Reina does join us again for part 3 here today, alongside Naila Chima, Harissa Mitrova, Sandra, Anindita Sinha, Sally Sim. Special mention to Sally because in Australia it's like very, very early morning. So thank you so much. Absolute honor to have you on. We've got Gulnaz Ismail and the one and only, because she still is, and she was in part 2 and she'll remain in part 3, Jackie Turpin. So welcome everybody for part 3.
Thank you for having us back, Atiq.
So we've heard a very beautiful story in part 2 about how homeopathy can help, not just with acutes, but how it's so profoundly deep when it comes to treating chronic conditions or chronic pathology, presenting pathology. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because we're talking about a science which is over 200 years old. So somebody who was very God-fearing, was very humble, loved humanity, wanted to do the best, and he was guided and blessed by God to be able to come up with the principles and the foundation for homeopathy, which in turn has saved how many millions and millions of lives, right? Or helped, should I say, for want of a better word, millions and millions of people since that time. And here we are in 2025 talking about it, but also walking the walk and talking the talk, right, as far as homeopathy is concerned. How profound that initial proving of China officinalis was, and how life-changing it has become since. Now we have upwards of 4,000 plus homeopathic medicines around the world, or remedies. You can call them remedies or medicines. In some country they call them homeopathic medicines, in some they call them remedies. And I was looking at some stats and I found that in India there's over 200,000 registered homeopathic doctors. And the uptake in colleges every year is upwards of 20,000 students. Now, that's phenomenal. That's just one country. What about everywhere else? It really is progressing, and it's going to be an absolutely phenomenal year now where people are taking charge of their health. And I think it's just a wonderful place to be, isn't it? Is it not?
This is the first year of Remedy Academy. We're the first intake, and there are 600 people enrolled, which is incredible. And they're starting to talk about the next intake, and it's literally going to be in the thousands. So,
Wow.
So many people are now starting to realise the benefits of homeopathy, and it's going to be fantastic. It's so exciting.
That's phenomenal. That's such a huge number, is it not? It's brilliant.
Massive, really massive. And I don't know obviously there's probably going to be a bit of a fallout of some of those 600, but I think the majority of people will graduate in 2026.
One of the best beauties of homeopathy is hope. Yeah, I say hope is a powerful affirmation, but it is. It gives hope, but it's tangible hope because it doesn't just give hope and then you just see what happens. It gives hope and it's tangible because it follows through. It follows you in that journey and it supports you and it helps you and it gets you back to how you're supposed to be. It removes the layers of personalities that may have built up. It removes the toxicity and so many other things, right? And it's so beautiful, isn't it? Because that's holistic. The holistic approach is always mind, body, well, it should be soul, mind, and body. But we call it mind, body, and soul, or mind, body, and spirit. But it's so important, isn't it, to treat the person? We learn certain diseases are so becoming so common because of what is up here, what we think. And it's interesting because we've heard the old expression, haven't we? You are what you eat. And you are what you think as well. If you think you're sick, you're going to be sick. If you've gone through a lot of loss in your life, or a lot of trauma, or a lot of anxiety, or a lot of despair, or a lot of abuse, that all builds up, right? It has an effect on us, which then has a biological process, and the body creates pathology, and you've got symptoms, and God knows what else, and it messes up everything, and you don't know who you are, or where you are, what you're supposed to be doing, or where you're supposed to be going. But then you've got the calm of it all, right? You see, I intentionally put it up a notch, and then I just went down. Did you see how I did that? So you've got the nice calm of, sorry, it's one of those days, one of those shows as well. But on a serious note, it calms you down because you've got homeopathy is calm. You haven't seen a homeopath saying, "Oh my God, okay, you need to take this and take that," and I'm quick. I've only got 5 minutes. It's like, hey, I'm here. Why don't you take my hand or lean on my shoulder and let's talk. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about what you need and let me help you get better. Isn't that just beautiful?
Actually, really, sorry. I was going to say it's really interesting because my husband actually said yesterday, he said, I'm not so worried anymore about, if I get sick or I have an ailment or something, it doesn't feel right. He said, because I know there's homeopathy. I know we can turn to that. And hearing that from him was amazing. He took me by surprise.
I have to
exactly
say
what he
here,
said.
and I hope he won't mind, but just when this is not about me, I'm talking about homeopathy, how it's worked, okay? So when homeopathy was helping him at the beginning, he was a very different person to the person today who's so bubbly and jokey and laughing and loud and full of life and full of love, and it's so wonderful to see that. And we see that, right? All of my guests here, do chip in. We see that, right? When our patients get better, that vibrancy, that vital force, you can see it, right? You can smell the energy, so to speak.
I have patients visiting me because sometimes, what happens is we are so fast-paced in our life and in our everyday work, daily routine work, that we just don't connect with what is happening inside. This disconnect is actually driving the pathology. And what we do is, because we cannot get out of that routine, my shoulder is hurting or my foot is hurting, we take paracetamol, or it doesn't work, then we take paracetamol with ibuprofen. If this didn't help, then we go and grab the anti-allergies, because that will then help with sleep as well. But when they do come to a homeopath, and in the beginning, for example, sometimes they are hesitant to talk, but when they start talking, sometimes it's so profound how they themselves start making those connections. Where did it come from? Where did it start? They even say that sometimes just coming to these consultations is like having their me time. They can just connect with themselves. They can talk about themselves. They can maybe look back at the month that has passed and which things have affected them, which things were positive, which were negative, and then they might not need a remedy that month, but even just being in that consultation, being them with themselves, just giving them the power to be heard is maybe it's the most important thing in modern times that people need.
Yeah, it's interesting. I want to move to you on this as well, Anindita, but um, I had a patient recently and she had grade 4 hemorrhoids. And we were having the consultation. It was like bang, 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 this happened and this and now I'm on this. And the doctor said this and now I've got surgery. I said, wait, just calm down a minute. Just let's stop for a minute. You're going too fast anyway. But let's talk about you. And I told her what the causa causalis is of grade 4 hemorrhoids. And we spoke about it and it clicked and she instantly got it. And it was a totally different person by the end of the consultation because we were not talking pathology, we were talking mind. Yeah, we were talking mind and emotions and what she had been through, which resulted in what she was suffering. But it was a total turnaround, and it's wonderful to see that change because it's moving to you, Anindita. It's about empowerment, isn't it?
Yes,
And
yes,
knowledge.
exactly. That was something that I was about to say. It's about empowerment. It's about educating the self to understand and connect with your own. So the patient who comes for a treatment goes back becoming more, wiser, more intuitive, and more educated about their own feelings, their own thoughts, the thoughts that are coming into their mind and why they are coming. So in a way, we are all responsible for our own healings, isn't it? And that is something that we are taught over and over again through these kind of healing modalities, the natural ways. Homeopathy teaches us to think that, yes, we are responsible for our own healing and we can do it. So, for example, there was a mom who had come for a little baby, a very, very small infant of 1 month. With colic, a very, very common situation, isn't it? So this infant was having a lot of reflux as well. So, the mom didn't want to give him antacids because, as understandable, it's a very, very small baby, and antacids could be really harsh on the baby. So, but the mom, the worst thing that I saw was not the disease, but the mindset. The mom was thinking that she couldn't help the baby in any way because she is not equipped or she doesn't have knowledge enough. But it is the mom's intuition which is going to help the baby finally. So, what I did was to educate her and to give her that confidence that, yes, you know it all. The baby came out of you. You can connect with the baby. You can use your intuition to understand what's going on in the baby. And she felt so much better after that. And after that comes the remedies, which is nothing but magic. Yeah. So, if it is a well matched one, but it is the confidence. I just love the confidence that we can put back into the hands of the caregivers. This is something that's so, so valuable.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Moving to you, Sally.
Oh, I was just going to say that my own homeopath says, heal the mother, heal the child.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
This is what one of my patients even asked. She is asking help for her autistic child. And she said, do you think if I should be coming to see you as well, because I might be influencing him? And she came for a consultation. I gave her a remedy. And this is, she said to me, this is the first time in past 3 years that they had a beautiful January, a calm January. Before that, it was a havoc in their family, and they always feared that January is coming. And it is the power of homeopathy giving. Mom knew that it might be her influencing the child, so she asked for help, and the calmness returned.
It's quite interesting you said that because it takes me on to another case where the children are always sick. Like every second week, that's something. It's a viral infection, it's bacterial infection, it could be fungal, whatever it is, right? And it took a few months, but we figured out it was the reason the children were getting sick is because they were always sort of told off more than often that such and such needs to be done and that needs to be done, and it was quite disciplined. And that has the impact. It's got nothing to do with anything else. It was the parenting side, and I don't mean anything bad by it because I'm just saying as an example. In this case, we figured out that that's what it was. So you actually have to treat the parents and not the children, because if the parents stop shouting, then the children are going to be fine.
That's so true. If I do remember, if I feel frustrated or if I am anxious about something, I will pass it on to my kids as well, and they're also running around the house, and I see that the energy is being transferred. It's just like I call the liver is the mother of the body. So if liver is not working fine, every organ will not work properly. Just like if the mother is not working properly, every person in the house will be influenced by it.
Isn't it
That's
wonderful
so
how
true.
we're so connected, Sally? Yes, please. I mean, we're so
No, I
connected,
was
aren't we, with energies?
having memories of when my children were growing up, and it was as I came more and more and more to using homeopathy, I realized that my mood basically dictated the mood of the whole house all the time. If I was stressed, it was bedlam.
You know, that's so true. I have to give you a very real example today, okay? Try not to laugh, brace yourselves. But I was going through something today, but I know that the family can feel it. I don't have to say anything. You can just walk through the room and you know that energy changes. It's quite interesting, isn't it? Because we're all so connected, right? What do you think, Gulnaz?
Yeah, that's correct, actually, because definitely the mother's energy does affect the children. When my kids were young, we were in UK, and obviously you're juggling work and school and everything, so it was with no help. So it is all the frustrations and everything comes out. So my eldest used to get ill a lot, used to get cold, and you would sort of be quite sensitive to different things. And then as I started to calm down and I know a good homeopath, and she helped me a lot. And that's where I started saying, look, this seems to be, so it's 100% sure, true. And energetically, we are all connected, as you said, that's true. And there's so many modalities, energetic modalities. When you look at them, it's all talks about connection. I would like to add one other thing here that, I have 2 cats, which we've adopted, and we didn't know the history or the background, and the homeopathy works wonders on them. When they had cold, they cough, and we rescued one cat who had been attacked by other cats. So they had sort of the operation where they operated on him, and it was okay, but he was limping and not putting on weight. So gave homeopathy. So animals, it's amazing how it works on animals. And anytime they have any issues, I just give them homeopathy. So it's not only on human, animals also react quite well to homeopathy.
They absolutely do. I treat rabbits, cats, horses, dogs. I haven't had any snakes or lizards yet. But hey, you never know, hey?
But you can give snake remedies made from snakes and lizards, too.
Hey, do spiders get sick? How do we
Good
know?
question.
Because we're spending half the time running from them, aren't we? And it's running after you, which makes it even horrible. It's like, oh my God, arachnophobia, innit? Help, help, no, leave me alone. Oh, that can't help you. There's a limit. The buck stops here. You got to go. Find someone else's home and ask them. Jackie, I'm going to want to bring you in. What are your thoughts?
I'm excited about the progress that homeopathy is taking place, especially what we're seeing last year and this year. And what I'm seeing is bringing in the type of hope that we can. I find the medicine becomes limitless. Like it just continually grows and gives people more and more hope. And coming back to, I think it was the first session, and Aditya mentioned when she started her remedy or constitutional, I can't remember exactly, but it's like the light went on. And my favorite part is it's kind of like they come in a whirlwind. They don't know which way they're going. They have so many issues, but when we can attend to some of them with some remedies and we see them get grounded again, and then the character comes out, and it's like they get the light, they see the light, they can make better decisions, and then progression, hope, and then it moves forward. So I'm so excited what this medicine can do for everyone.
Thank you. Sandra.
I was just wanted to go back to that mind-emotion connection. I think most people now, they understand that stress, chronic stress does affect the health. But I want to point out that it can be just one moment. And I think my hair loss situation was a perfect example. So in my mind, it was because I was going through exam season and I was really stressed, and that's what caused it. But then when you, Atiq, offered to have a chat, I was also starstruck. And I thought, I can't waste this opportunity. I really have to be as precise as possible. So I went back and I read my journal. And what happened the day before it started was that I got a call. Well, my daughter has allergies, very severe allergies. And she was at the Girl Guiding Club, and they never call me. And that day I got a call. And as soon as I saw the leader's name, I just assumed the worst. And I picked up, and they just wanted to ask me one basic question. So I forgot about it. So it wasn't bad news, but in my psyche, it was as bad news, because as soon as I saw it, the name of the leader, I just assumed that it was bad news. And it was such a shock, it stuck, even though consciously I forgot it as soon as I put the phone down. And then I don't know if you remember, but the remedy that stopped it was gilsenium, which is ailments from bad news, even though there were no bad news, but it's just how it works.
Amazing, isn't it, when it
Yeah.
works, you know?
And I think also this is why homeopathy goes hand in hand with self-development and awareness, because you have to have that awareness to be able to spot these things. It's not
Well,
always
thank you.
chronic
Yeah.
stress, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Harissa.
A few things to add here. So during my cancer journey, I was like Reina, trying to find why I've got cancer, why me. So a part of training in homeopathy, I started training as a psychotherapist, and I can say that what I learned from the course of psychotherapist is just one piece of the 100 piece possible, which homeopathy taught me about. It is completely different. What they can see is mind separately. They're not connecting mind to the body, to the emotion and anything. So homeopathy is amazing. And few things to add as an example on connection, mind, body, and emotions. I was breastfeeding my daughter until she was 3 years old. So I needed to go for 3 days away from her. So she didn't have the breast milk at that point. And when I came back, I used the chance to actually stop breastfeeding because it went too long, and I started to be very exhausted of that. It wasn't anymore for the milk, it was for the comfort. After I stopped it, anytime I needed to go travel somewhere, she became ill. Every time she became ill, until we gave her lac humanum. And now it's not the same. So it was very interesting. It wasn't just one occasion. It was more than 5, 6, 7, up to 10 occasions. When I was traveling abroad or traveling somewhere without her, she was ill.
You know, that actually takes me on to something, which is the fact that for those listeners who are new to homeopathy or just enjoy listening to podcasts like this one, which is, by the way, the world's #1 radio talk show on homeopathy, the lac remedies are really, really powerful remedies indeed. And they're very apt and timely for this generation, the new generation that's coming forward, you know, because of the emotional challenges. So it's something to research and look into more. Reina, wonderful to have you here for part 3. What are your thoughts?
Hi, thank you. Nice to be here. Well, I think in terms of the conversation about sort of mind and body connection, it's quite interesting what you were saying about what was being said about sort of, I think Harissa was saying it about being with her child and being ill. Well, I was just thinking back to things, and actually, after my daughter was born, I didn't want to go back to work, and I wanted to spend time with her, and it was a really big thing for me when I had to go back. It was very traumatic for me, actually, emotionally. And thinking back now, I'm actually just, because it wasn't long after, I think I was back at work for 8 months before my cancer was diagnosed. And I'm actually just thinking maybe that was, the mind-body connection, me not wanting to go back, and actually then presented physically. Maybe, I don't know, that's just me thinking aloud, thinking aloud on the spot now, and yeah, I think it's amazing there is such a strong connection between the mind and the rest of the body, and how our bodies are connected holistically. And then also when you were talking about empowerment earlier as well, I just think there's also the empowerment of, with homeopathy, where you feel empowered. When I felt empowered, this past year, just being able to take the remedies and knowing that I could see them helping and feeling better, and yeah, just having that control over my own well-being, really, that was huge. I think, and I know that one of the remedies he gave me early on, because I think it was constitutional one, I think it was Aurum. I think it wasn't there. I think it was early on. I think you'd given me Aurum. And I know that I had a conversation not long after that with a family member, which I would never have had before. In fact, when I told my sister I'd had this conversation, she was really shocked. She was like, "Oh my God, what's happened to you? That would never have happened before." But I kind of just opened up, and I just said how I was feeling, and I felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. So something happened. I can only put it down to that, because I wouldn't have had that conversation before. So yeah, so I think homeopathy's, yeah, I think it's huge. I think it's, as the word's been used already, it's magic.
Yeah, absolutely. Sally, bringing you in. So, it's one of the best moments as homeopaths is to see the patient flourish. It's such a nice, rewarding feeling. And I don't think you can actually, should I say, we can't really put it into words unless we've experienced it. To see someone who's unwell, to have the opportunity to help them, and then to see them walk away happy,
Yeah.
fixed, is so wonderful, isn't it?
It is, but I'm only just starting to take cases in the next couple of months for the course, and that's probably the thing I'm looking forward to most, is being able to make, hopefully, that massive difference in people's lives, where they don't just get well physically, but they blossom as a human being. That's really, I'm really looking forward to that, because I think that's what I've wanted to study for a very long time, and the timing just wasn't right until recently. But I had an experience myself with lachesis back in 2018. I was feeling really resentful, really angry about a situation that had happened in my life. And I remember knowing enough about homeopathy to know that lachesis was a snake remedy. And when my homeopath at the time prescribed it, I said, "Are you saying I'm a snake?" And she said, "There are lots of really fantastic attributes to lachesis, like they're outgoing, gregarious, intelligent, la la la." She said, "But you have to admit that when you get backed into a corner, you come out all guns blazing." And I said, "Yeah, you're right. I do." And so I had to admit that it probably was my remedy, and it was absolutely life-changing, completely life-changing for me, and just really reaffirmed that this is what I wanted to do with my life. Having been a teacher, a high school teacher for 40 years, I thought, I've got to take this opportunity to study and hopefully see those sorts of revelations in other people's lives.
It's everybody has a time, and I've seen it so many times. And I think we were having a conversation with somebody recently about this, and they said, "Oh, I'm too old to start studying homeopathy." I said, "Okay, but think of it like this. You may, when you graduate, end up treating more patients in 10 or 20 years than I could treat in 50 years. And they stopped, and they thought, wow, it's possible. I said, so it's never too late. It's not about how many people you treat. It's not about that. It's what you've learnt. And even if it's one person's life that you end up saving, let's say through homeopathy, that's enough, Yeah, it's more than enough, is it not? What do you think, Sandra, Harissa, Jackie?
I thought I was too old. I was completely convinced I'm too old to start something new. And then I took Bach's Wild Oat, and within 2 weeks I changed my mind and I contacted CHE.
That's brilliant. That's power, isn't it?
Because I was interested, I had lots of books, but I was convinced my just path is to self-study. That's why I did Bach course, some little courses, and I was watching a lot of YouTube videos. And then one thing led to another. I took Wild Out and it just clicked. And that convinced me as well that frequency medicines work.
That's really wonderful indeed. Harissa.
Yeah, I agree with you, Atiq. It's enough to help just one person. But we as a homeopath are so like how to say, just people who wants to help many more to reach those kind of medicine, which is not known, and that's the reason it's not used that often, because people are not aware of this. I'm currently doing my master in psychotherapy, and people never heard about this. And there was a lecture when they was asking who is taking medicine, and I just stood up and I said, in 5 years in a row, I'm just purely taking only homeopathy and try to find the reason. People were amazed. They don't have the knowledge about this. It's probably only your show I know so far, which is telling the people about homeopathy. If they haven't got the knowledge, they don't know where to go and look for it.
Mm. And Jackie, ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to Jackie Turpin.
So funny, Atiq. I'm just in love with it. I love the fact that, some of us started younger, some of us started older, and I don't think there's an age to homeopathy, and it's beautiful. We start with our family, and then we stretch out to our friends, some of our pets, and then maybe we decide to go to school and go on. I think we're students forever. And what I love about this is whether it's a career or a passion, there's no age. This goes on forever. You can do it until your wee ages and still picking up a book and helping. But the fact that once you start feeling that, or you get that feeling that you've helped somebody, you see the progress, you see the lights come back on, they're grounded again, they're happy, they're living, they're thriving, which is what we should be doing. You just want the next one again. You want to help the next one again. And I find it's a different modality, whereas as homeopaths, I see it's so common. That's our reward, right? We just see it over and over again, and we want it for the next person. And it gives us the strength and courage to keep digging deeper and see what is it we need for that person. But to let people thrive again, nothing better.
I personally have found, and I know it's true for everybody here and every single homeopath, that homeopathy is so much of a journey of self-discovery as well, and self-discovery and self-realization, knowing who am I? Yeah? What are we here for? What's our purpose? Finally understanding what that is and the reasoning behind it. So many questions about existence, about life. But when you get into a profession which is to serve others under the umbrella of serving humanity, it's all to do with there is no ego. You have to be humble. You have to keep your head down. You do the best that you can. You worry about your patients. You support them. And that's absolutely the best life, because you are doing good. So, I don't want to make it sad or, like, oh, he's a bit cynical here. But when you die, at least you can actually die in peace, because you did your best helping others, right? So you did good. We know we did good, right? There's always doubt, because we're human beings, and you always think, did I do enough? But on the other side, yes, you did. We tried our best, right? So let's bring it back to the living, because that went a bit dark, didn't it? But anyway, it's all about this self-discovery, which I was talking about, and this identity that we have. We know who we are. We know what we want to do, and it changes us, does it not? How we talk, how we perceive things, how we look at people. I've always found that. I'm sure this is the same for all of you here, that as a homeopath, because of the observation skills that we pick up, wherever you go, be it shopping or socializing, you're always sort of thinking, very pulsatilla, very nux, very calc, very aurum, possibly, maybe could see a bit of aurum in there, And it's quite interesting, isn't it? Because I tell you why. Because it helps us to mold and adapt our conversational style and personality to that person. So if you've got somebody who's very Naxdhomika, you can probably take a step back slightly, right? And just sort of talk softly, right? Just enough. Whereas if you laugh, Naila, but it's true, isn't it? I'm going to go to you next, but and when you've got somebody who is pulsatilla or even Ignatia, it's slightly different, isn't it? Yeah. You can have different conversations with different people, and it's so beautiful to be able to adapt for us. What do you think? What do you think, Naila?
It's so funny because one of my tutors asked me to take next Vomika once. And it was because I was always hurrying for, let's do the next thing, let's do the next thing. He's like, you're so next Vomika, always doing something.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, I just wanted to go back to the aspiration of to become a homeopath. I come from, I've studied nutrition a while ago when I was studying, and then I started a fashion business. It was fashion business. Everyone is looking to get new clothes, or every season the fashion is changing. Everyone is after let's get this color. This is trendy. It's a good business. Like, you can make good money, but when the lockdown hit, I had my child, my fourth one. I have 4 children, and I was like, will I be doing this all the time? Is it what I aspire for? Is this my life? Can I be doing this after my children are grown up? They're out of the house. Will I just be asking people, yes, please come to me, purchase this fashion or this brand or this style or this? I never wanted to be in fashion business. And that's when I started thinking about going back to what I started my life with nutrition, with helping people, because I was doing it voluntarily. I was holding talks for people and doing it in the community all the time. So I thought maybe I can look into making another career. It is not so common to build another career at the age of around 35, 36-ish in our culture. But I thought, no, let's do this. And thankfully, my husband has been very supportive with it. It was very difficult with a 1-year-old to start studying again, to start remembering everything again. It was like, what am I doing? A whole new world, a whole new era. And I am not a native English speaker as well. So it was another world and learning English in that language. But when I've started practicing, and when I've started seeing patients, and when I've started seeing that they are getting better, when they come to me and say, oh, I feel so much better, I can sleep better, my energy is better, or they say, I never thought that I can feel like this again. It's just so motivational. You just feel like, even if I can bring this energy or this light to 10 people, that's what I am going to live for. I don't need anything else.
Thank you. That's so aptly said, so timely. Now, you won't believe it, but we are nearing the end of this part 3, and you know I love trilogies, so I think you're all going to be back sometime soon, okay? For another 3-parter. We could call it the spaghetti western of homeopathy, right? Yeah. But before we leave, I want to ask each of you what homeopathy means for you. So let's have some fun as well, okay? So in no particular order, or should I give you a countdown? But let me start with myself, shall I? So what does homeopathy mean for me? Homeopathy means for me to be in a position to serve humanity. And that's, for me, the greatest gift that I could have been blessed with and endowed with. And for my patients, it means that through homeopathy, they're able to get their health back and their vitality, and they're able to live happy, healthy, prosperous lives. So in no particular order, I'm going to go straight into Jackie.
For me, homeopathy is hope, love, and joy.
Beautiful. Sally?
For me, homeopathy is giving people hope where they may not have had any hope before.
Gulnaz?
So for I've been dabbling into homeopathy for nearly 20 years. I'm still a first year student. Can you believe it? I've done so many different modalities, but
You need to
homeopathy,
take Califos and Brighter Carb, I think.
I think so. And I keep
Speed it up.
pulling me back, keeps pulling me back. It's just, my family tells me that whenever you talk about, I'm a hypnotherapist, I've done so many modalities, but when I talk about homeopathy, there's a passion in me which I feel no other modality gives me. And I've seen the results. And that's what I feel. It's just amazing. It's just amazing. Um,
Thank you. Sandra?
To me, it's like this gift that fell into my lap, and now I want to share it.
Oh, that's actually really beautifully said. Thank you. Harissa?
For me, homeopathy is hope, awareness, and self-love.
Thank you. And Reina?
For me, well, I said it's empowerment, it's hope, and it's become sunshine, actually, for me. Every day, it just makes me feel really energized and happy, which is how I feel when the sun's out. So, yeah, that's what it is for me. I can't wait to get to the point where I can help others.
You'll be there. You'll get there soon. Interesting. It's interesting. I'll end with Naila.
I think I share the same sentiments as you do. For me, homeopathy is dedicating my life to serve humanity with compassion, care, and love. And that's the reason we've started to work together.
It's wonderful. I became unwell some time back, and then a homeopathic angel, as I call them, my homeopath, came along and fixed things. And it's just proof, because as homeopaths, we need proof as ourselves, don't we? Right? We need proof for ourselves. I mean, purely we get sick. We're not superhumans, right? Homeopaths are human beings just like everybody else. And it was such a nice moment that, we talk about hope and starting again, and it was wonderful. And that's what homeopathy does, doesn't it? It gives you lasting, it gives you hope, but then it gives you lasting results, and it's just wonderful. And yeah, fantastic. So listen, everybody, thank you so very much. It's been an absolute honor for me to be able to talk to you, to have your wisdom, insights, and I hope the listeners will find this 3-part, I'm just thinking, inspiring, I think is the word, inspiring, and that it will give you tangible hope that there is always something out there, especially in this case, homeopathy, that can help you with your health needs. So until the next trilogy, thank you so very much, and take care, and I will speak to you very, very soon indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good day. Thank you. It's been wonderful.
Brilliant. Thanks.
I do hope you've enjoyed this week's episode of the Homeopathy Health Show. Please do support the show by clicking follow on my socials. Remember, the more exposure the podcast receives, the better for homeopathy around the world. You can find me on Instagram by searching for @like_treatslike, and on both Facebook and TikTok by searching for @like_treatslike. So let's promote the voice of homeopathy on radio and podcast around the world together. Don't forget to visit me online at www.liketreatslike.co.uk and click on the radio and podcast tab. Here you'll be able to see all the guests that have joined me on the show so far, and of course you can stream on demand the latest episode to your mobile, tablet or PC. Until next time, stay safe and take care.